Server tipped herself $10 on my to-go order and I complained. She lost her job. I go to this restaurant quite often, locally, for just a pulled pork sandwich. Every single time I order the same thing to go, it's $17.55, with taxes and fees and all the new ridiculous charges they pad on. I know this because I check my bank statements. I recently ordered the sandwich this past week over the phone and noticed I was charged $29.20. The same thing I order twice a month. I made a mental note. I went in to pick up and immediately asked for the receipt. I was told there was something wrong with the machine, so I asked to speak to the manager. I asked to speak to the manager about my sandwich pricing. The waitress who took my order told me to avoid any further confrontation. She would void it out of the system because the manager wasn't going to be there until 4. I said okay, and I left. Mind you, in my head, I got a free sandwich. And I'm coming to talk to the manager at 4 because that was kind of shady. I finally get to speak with the manager, who was able to confirm the receipt were working fine, and she was able to pull up my order from that day and see there was an excess tip left for the waitress. That was the extra charge. I didn't make a big deal about it. I was refunded. I was genuinely just curious about the sandwich pricing and if they were charging a larger price. And I guess that's how he figured this out, I guess. I was genuinely curious about the sandwich pricing and if they were charging a larger takeout percentage, which was currently 10%. So he thought maybe when he do a takeout, they charge more money rather than when he go in and order in person. I went in today and found out she was fired right after. Should I have taken my free sandwich and just let it go? Edit. She was clearly pregnant and couldn't be more than 25 years old. Should you have complained? Of course you should have complained. That's your money. That's your $10 that she tried to charge you for. What do you mean, should you have complained? Yes, you should have complained. I would have complained. I don't know. America has this whole tipping thing. I don't mind tipping, but if you're working somewhere and you're getting paid to do this job, I don't think you should always expect a tip. And especially if you're providing a service and your service wasn't that great, why are you expecting a tip? A customer shouldn't be required to put a tip unless they want to. And you as the service worker shouldn't always expect a tip. What should really happen is employers should be paying their employees more money, especially for waitresses. They're in this culture of not paying waitresses a decent wage. That's the problem. That's where the problem lies. It's not with the people who are not tipping enough. It's with the employers who are saying, we're going to pay you $2 an hour, $3 an hour because you get tips. That to me is ridiculous. And they've been getting away with this for years. Like, why is something not being done about service workers, especially waitresses, where they should be allowed to get paid more money? And service workers shouldn't have to rely on tips. Because even if you provide a good or the best service ever, it doesn't make it mandatory that customer is going to tip you. Although I tend to tip based on your service. If you're not going to provide me a good service, don't expect a good tip. I'll still tip you, but don't expect a good tip. That's all I'm saying. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. Tell me in the comments, what do you think about tipping? And should he have just let it go? Or should he it's right that he complained. I say complain, it's your money. And she was basically stealing it from the customer.